How are y'all doing? This is Steven with Merk Farms Hunting, just doing the weekly website update with a little bit of commentary like usual. Just give a general update of what's going on with the business, hunting leases, things like that, and then just kind of picking out a tract that I really like. My last one, I believe I was down at the Florida farm, back around Kentucky now. And so, going to go ahead and get right into it. It's been a fairly, I don't know, slow. It's is the word this time of year. Really, not a whole lot of new lands coming out. A lot of hunters have kind of figured out where they're going to hunt. So it's not like it absolutely slammed like around Halloween. Even Thanksgiving starts ramping up. A lot of activity. Not a ton of activity right now as much. Everybody's out checking their cameras, getting ready, lining up the deer they're going to try to get and things like that. That having been said, I do have a new marketing outreach going out. It should start really any day. Probably one of my biggest reaches. So I'm still out trying to find new lands, getting new lands out there. And this time of the year, I still will put them out. As I've explained many times, they're not cheap because it's late in the summer. Most of the hunting people pay for is still ahead. So if anything, we do longer leases. So if you see something pop up, not really now, but in another month or two, you can definitely ask about just doing a longer lease if it's somewhere that you might want to stay around. Kids are going back to school in the next week or so. Excited about that. Going to free up some more time. It is nice to have them around more. My oldest just left for football camp today, 4 days away. That's really cool. His first time in it, going to be a freshman, and he hadn't backed down or anything yet. And naturally, big and gifted. Has him at left tackle right now, starting out with the starting line and the freshman. Hopefully, he can maintain it and maybe even get some JV reps or higher. At the school, the biggest A class around here. So, and they won the state title 2 years ago. So, pretty good program. Hopefully, it'll be a lot of good competition for him. Do have marketing starting up any day now. Don't know the exact run rates. I do have about 5 or 6 new tracks. I may even try to post tomorrow. They're not necessarily new. Just still don't have the checks on them yet, so gonna have to open them up. And these are Western Kentucky properties in places hard to get, so I don't necessarily know what the drag is, but people change all the time. Find new lands, members drop in, drop out. Significant others, spouses kind of pull in the reins, finances change, things like that. So I do have some tracks to open up in areas people really try to find land. Maybe even tomorrow, very, very shortly. Okay, so that's kind of a weekly update on what all's been going on with the business stuff. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into a tract of land and why I like it. And believe this one, I don't believe I've done this one before. This one is the Clinton County, Kentucky, 100 acres. And you can find it's open, and you can find its price. Again, prices are fairly stable. I mean, that is one thing, though, I do want to say is, in the digital age, and that's one thing why I do to track privacy. I will say that 2 different tracks of mine that I have that are priced really high, the owners have kind of gotten into me on like, well, I've been hitting the internet and this what that person said and this person said, and again, I'm out here trying to keep things stable. There's probably 3 to 5 of us, I think, in the same boat. And then there's probably anybody with the internet looking at making, if I can make $500 a day, to feed myself, or, whatever, or I can get rich off this property, it really, like with building any business, and especially in these businesses, if you're not of the mindset to be around 10 years like me, or even longer, a couple people really, again, just like hunters, unfortunately, hunter behaviors kind of made it difficult on landowners and driven the prices up. Unfortunately, there's a few people just keeping on popping up, trying to do something like what I'm doing, and the first thing out the gate is, "Oh, I'm going to get you more money," and again, no market built, no knowledge of how to do it, no knowledge of all the games that hunters are going to try to come up with. Just not very well experienced. And then, but again, all it does is turn around and the owners contact me and say, "Hey, well, we need to go up in price." And I'm like, "Man, I'm one of the best in the country, and the price is pretty strong, and it's open right now, and so I don't really know necessarily if that's the case or not." And so far, more times than not, just can't even hardly find the person after a week or two of promising the moon. So speaking of prices, they're not going to go down. And again, people ask I understand people have to ask, but like, "Oh, can we go down this year?" Well, only if you don't want to hunt there anymore, because there's just no way around it. And it's not me sitting to the owner and being like, "Oh, well, let's squeeze another $200 out of somebody." Much too busy. That's probably not going to significantly make a huge difference to anybody. So it doesn't make sense for me to do that. But the problem is, a lot of the hunter behavior, but even people wanting to pop up trying to sell the world to a landowner is unfortunately probably going to be more of a problem in the future. And again, that is one of the reasons why I do this video blog, because verified, actual professional people in the future is going to really kind of be the where people funnel to whenever there's enough silliness going on out there. But anyway, so again, that's why I never speak on prices, because prices change. You may watch this video, it may be 3 years in the past already, and the price obviously doesn't have any bearing. Prices change all the time, is the bottom line. But anyway, as you see, I've got it classified as lucky. Now, it's if you read my Tract rating system, it's lucky right off the bat because of the size. 100 acres. That's not big enough to really manage what's going on. So it is in the lucky category. But again, moving on, why I like it. I like it because it does border some, Corps of Engineer land. So it's extra land you get to hunt on, and it's by the lake. So you get to hunt the land between your property and the lake. Your property blocks off most of the lake property. That's nice. You get to get out and explore more. Another reason why I like it is the topography. This land lays pretty relatively flat, really, but it does have some nice little divots, some nice little hollows. But what I like, the core land is really woolly. It's really divoted, really hollow, full of hollows. Really the type of area where, again, deer are basically big glorified goats that we chase, and really that goat land around it. And a lot of people, your Rambo type hunter, be more than plenty of places to get in there. I think you find the one little bench and see the one little bench they're walking on, and smoke you down a good deer and have a really good haul in front of you. Maybe brought a winch or something, I don't know. But so I like it because the surrounding land, especially the core land between this land and the lake, is very, very deery. Very there's not humans going to be running up and down in there. It's literally going to be deer habitat. So I like it because of that. I like it there's infrastructure on there. Never really gotten into it with the owner, but probably with an enterprising enough person. It's a nice, again, for a farm place, a nice house on there. There's some barns, plenty of place for maybe a little storage. With a little work and collaboration, could probably turn the house into something decent. You can see the video, honestly. I've got it in the video. It looks very inviting. It looks like it'd be a great little camp. And, as you can tell from the aerial, you've got some woods and you've got some fields. Some of the grasslands are just grasslands. Some, at the time of this video, do have some cows on it. It differs from time to time. I think when I was there was about 15. It's not a huge cattle production type thing, but there are some cows, and they are fenced. So you can see and kind of go and negotiate and really easily see where the cows are at. From everything I've seen, they're definitely in one of the main fields, all the woods around it and stuff like that. Pretty much, the cows have a few shade trees and the barns and stuff, and so they're pretty well contained. I like it, ease of access. It sits on a dead end road. A lot of the property has got a paved road that goes and right dead ends near the end of the property, and it's got a nice gravel road that's gated that goes on really to the heart of the property. So I like it. It's not in a place that's priced very high, and I really like it. I hate it. If I had more time, it's definitely one of those places where I really would easily see me and the kids going ahead, and if it was a little closer, me and the kids grabbing it and using it for an awesome place for me and the kids to hunt, get away to, that kind of stuff. It has that kind of inviting appeal. So the Clinton County, Kentucky 100-acre tract, check it out. And again, that's why I like it. This is Stephen, Merk Farms Hunting. Check in again more or less next week.